So I've been in Stickam for a little bit now, and there's so much lag in there, it's hard to communicate. So I wanted to upload some thoughts here. We've been talking about really, I guess there's two teams in the room, if you really wanted to reduce it down. There's the spiritual crowd, or the spiritual individuals, and the material crowd, or individuals. And I raised the point that both of these terms, spirit and matter, are equally nebulous. It's very difficult to actually define what each of these words mean. Um, you know, in Newton's time, it was easy to define what matter is. Matter is extended um, bodies, atoms. But since the quantum revolution, since relativity, the idea that matter is energy and that energy is seemingly not ultimately reducible to space-time, that in fact, light, for example, is everywhere uh, and is not restricted to time. There is no past or future for a photon. This is a bizarre situation. So, what is matter? What is energy? I have no idea. I've studied it, you know, reasonably deeply. I would say, and I still, I can say some things about it, but I don't know what it is. And in a similar way, when materialists say, "Well, what is spirit? What do you mean you're spiritual? There's nothing but the material world." How do I respond to that? Well, obviously, it's difficult to define spirituality. What does it refer to? What is spirit? There's no simple answer to that, but nor is there a simple answer to this question of determinism or matter, which is determined. What is matter? I don't know. What are the implications of determinism? What are the implications of freedom? That's another way of looking at the spirit matter dualism. Um, and it's this duality that's been sort of getting us hung up in this discussion in Stickam, I think. The dualism, the duality between subject and object, freedom and determinism, spirit and matter. We're constantly trying to figure out which is right, which is true, when really neither one of us knows what the hell we're talking about. At least if, talking, if talking is supposed to be some sort of argument between separate camps, then talking can never arrive at a final answer because there will always be a response, a disagreement. That's the nature of discourse. But then, the question is, can we get beyond subject and object? Can we somehow agree to disagree in the sense that, yes, there are these poles, subjectivity, objectivity, the human being, and nature, but they never were separate. They exist together. They are actually a process of becoming. And instead of discourse, we can enter dialectic, where there is a continual penetration into deeper and deeper insight as regards the nature of reality. Nature being not just pure extended deterministic matter, but nature as veiled spirit, um, hidden, the ideal world hidden, as though it were shadows on a cave wall, where light, which even in physics, as I said earlier, is not in space and time. Light is, transcending the universe that matter is trapped light, in a sense, as far as relativity is concerned. So, in that context, um, it's a universe that's both material and spiritual, and spirit is matter reaching for the future, where matter is spirit hung up on the past. Um, you never have one without the other. They're both valid descriptions of these poles that constitute our ongoing developing reality. There's habit, the past, and there's novelty, the future. We're given certain facts, and then we also have to then take responsibility for a certain future which then becomes possible based upon those facts. We've got to deal with both of these elements. Freedom is only possible because part of our reality is determined. We're given certain constraints, and within those constraints, we're capable of doing certain work. And, when a physicist wants to define energy, they say energy is work. Well, how does work take place without some sort of a constraint? Energy cannot be produced without organization, without energy being directed in some way towards efficiency. So even if we were going to try to define or reduce nature to just pure efficient causes, mechanical causes where one thing follows the next in a completely deterministic way, determinism is itself a sort of finalism, of teleology, because there are laws imposed on this accidental world. Those laws are the telos of matter in a deterministic sort of paradigm. So determinism, materialism, you don't escape the necessity of purpose if reality is to be understood. You just assumed it. You've become unconscious of it. My position is just to say, okay, we can't do without purpose, nor can we do without determinism. We can't do without the past. We can't do without the future. We've recognized that time is dynamic. I think we can all agree about that. The contentious point seems to be whether or not this dynamism is directed. Is it moving towards an end? Is the universe going somewhere? And certainly, I hope we can all agree that the universe is more like a process of genesis, of creation, ongoing creation, an unfolding event. The universe is more like that than it is a place, a static thing. It's a cosmogenesis, not a cosmos. Hopefully we can agree on that. And if that is the case, then the process is unfolding towards what? That's my question. I don't have a ready-made answer for it, but I think we need to be asking it. And I think there are answers to it. And you can certainly ask me questions. You can challenge me on this particular perspective, and I will answer you as best as I can. So we'll go from there.